If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your faded words I will choke.
Happy Fantasy Draft Friday to everyone in the sports universe. It is August the 5th, 2022. This is the AM Drive on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. For Semi Action, I am Michael Carvella saying, "What's going on, Shimmy?"
Hey, my man, football is back. It felt like watching the Super Bowl yesterday. Jaguars, Raiders, it's a preview, I'm telling you.
Wait, no, because that'll be AFC. Bad joke on you. Boo.
That's
AFC
the reason.
Championship preview. How about that?
That's the reason it's a bad joke.
Right. If you like our show, if you want to support our show, the easiest and cheapest way possible is amdrive.online. It's our merchandise. Or you can go to mikeandaaron.com and click the Our Shop tab. When you go there, you'll find awesome, good quality hoodies like the one I'm wearing. You'll find a mug like what's right to my shoulder. You'll find a Black Edition mug, a tumbler, t-shirts. We got all the things you need for the merchandise to support our show, amdrive.online. Okay, Sammy, last night, the Raiders defeated the Jaguars 27-11. Not that it matters about the outcome, but I guess yesterday's show you kind of said over 30 for the total on that, and got it out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, the total mattered to me, but I don't think it matters to anybody else. 30.5 was the number I got, and it was a sweat, but it came through.
Did you watch all the way to the end?
I watched the first half live on my television. I watched the second half on my phone because, kids.
That's a fair point. The only thought that I have from this game is that Trayvon Walker. I don't like the sack that he had. I guess having the awareness to break off the line. Wow, for an athletic freak, he should have struggled bringing down Jared Stidham.
Yeah, I saw his sack. I also saw he didn't have much impact on the game, which was a little shocking considering they weren't playing their best players. But it's his first game. We'll see. We'll see if he improves throughout the season.
Yeah, but I mean, again, the whole thing on him is that he's a physical freak, and it's like you're that weak. I know you're a number one draft pick. You should not. Myles Garrett was not that weak when he came out. Jadeveon Clowney was not that weak.
That's very fair.
I don't know, man. Something ain't right.
That's very fair. He is not the physical specimen those other guys are. Doesn't have the insane speed of Clowney or the strength of Garrett. I didn't agree with him being the number one overall pick. I don't know that he'll turn out to be as big of a player as those other guys you mentioned. But we'll see. I mean, he's young, right? And he isn't built to play that exact way. He has essentially more speed in a bigger body than Garrett, and he has more strength in a smaller body than Clowney. That's what they're saying. We'll see if it comes out to be true.
That's a fair point. How'd you like Jared Stidham for the Raiders? I know that Jared Stidham came from the system with Josh McDaniels, followed him there. How do you like him as a backup and maybe as a potential starter, a spot starter one year?
I liked what they did with Mariota last year. I thought using him in some gimmicky plays and getting him out on the field gave him the opportunity to stretch the field in a different kind of way. I don't think Stidham brings that to the equation. I think he's more of a traditional backup quarterback. Right. If the Raiders want any chance of competing for the playoffs, he should probably stay on the bench.
No, for Jared Stidham, I'm talking about for his future, did you see anything that screams spot starter or not really?
No, not really. I mean, he had a nice run for a touchdown. I saw that. He didn't throw the ball that particularly well. Nobody really did. The offenses struggle traditionally in these types of games, and they did last night as well. But no. I mean, I've never really seen anything out of him that indicates he'll play in the league outside of being a clipboard holder and occasional injury replacement. So, but I mean, good on him if he can, continue to improve and get on the field. I just don't think he will.
This game, to me, last thing I'll say is it went exactly how I thought it would. Raiders have more depth. You saw that last year whenever they won games without star players. So, and Jaguars obviously had the number one pick of the draft. So it seems like the Raiders have just more depth and are a better team right now. I know that it's preseason, but still, this game shows your depth, and obviously Raiders pretty much stomped them.
Yeah, you're right. And you brought up a point yesterday about these coaches wanting to see how much fire and preparation they have in their team. And I thought it was clear, at least in the first half, the Raiders were more prepared, came out with a lot more fire. McDaniel had them more in charge of what they were supposed to be doing. There was less mistakes on their side of the ball, which, mistakes are usually indicative of the coach. So if anything, it looked good for Josh McDaniels, not as much for the Jaguars, but none of their starters played. And so we'll see if they can improve. The Jaguars only won, 3 or 4 games last year? A winning season for them would be to win 6 games, 7 games, right? Double their win total. And they can do that. They have the talent to win some games. So the bar is very low in Jacksonville.
Doug Pearson's the coach, right?
Yeah, the guy from Philly.
Hasn't done anything since Frank Reich, just to be fair.
Philly, man. Philly special.
I know. How about this? This is an interesting topic here. A role player and a journeyman and a EuroLeague player, Mike James, blasted Steph Curry, called him one-dimensional. I want to get this quote exactly here, so I'll go on SF Gate. It's funny the San Francisco News article says this. No, but I was on a podcast or whatever, and he says Steph, how he plays and how he gets stuff off, it's just kind of one-dimensional at times. He's not the primary ball handler a lot, and for a point guard, that kind of bothers me. He then went on to say that Devin Booker was more skilled, and to that I say I disagree with that completely, because you talk about one-dimensional, all Devin Booker does is pull up from mid-range on a fadeaway. Like, come on now. When you talk Steph Curry one-dimensional, we got to be fair with this argument here. So I don't know where the animosity comes from. And to be fair to Mike James, he did say in the same podcast interview or whatever that if we're nitpicking top fives, you have to do this, right? Because you said he called Giannis, LeBron, Luke, all those guys better. And so it's like he's basically having to nitpick each one. So he said, well, I think Steph Curry's one-dimensional, so he's not a top 5 player to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Mike James's assessment. I mean, if you get asked a question, you answer it. I mean, you ask me a question, I've never played basketball at any sort of professional level or any sort of, intramural level, but I'll still give you my opinion. And I think that's sort of what happened with Mike James is somebody asked him a question and he gave an answer. I don't know that his opinion is incredibly valid, but I agree with it. I don't think Steph is a top 5 player right now. I do think that the guys he mentioned are probably better, but Steph is an all-time great player, and I'm sure Mike James would love any semblance of Steph's career. So, to criticize the guy seems a little bit disingenuous. But, yeah, I mean, if he got asked a question and he gave an honest answer, good on him.
One thing I don't like that happens with these kind of arguments is if it's just a fan saying, oh, well, they never played, and because they disagree with their opinion, they just validate it to that. But then you have a player say it, oh, well, he was just a journeyman. Well, I mean, who do you want to say it before, you believe it? Or before you realize it's not that much of an unpopular opinion? It's okay to call Steph Curry good and great. It's also at the same time okay to call him one-dimensional. Because it works. I mean, He's not, Mike James is not saying it doesn't work. He's just saying he prefers different point guard skill sets. And that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Mike James is like you say, he's a journeyman. He's a guy I've barely heard his name before,
Right.
and this gets him some popularity, gets him some recognition, maybe a little bit of a moment in the press. But again, he gets booked on a podcast, he gets booked in an article, and they ask him a question. His answer is a little bit controversial, and oh well. I mean, like I said, he's entitled to have his opinion. He's just like
Agreed.
You or I or anybody else who's on any of these programs who get asked a question. If he feels that way, then he should answer honestly. He shouldn't have to, bow down to the gods and answer the way everybody wants. He should answer the question the way he thinks is right.
You made a good point about it, because I feel like this becomes like when guys are so good and people like, they do nitpick. Even I'll nitpick Steph Curry. You've heard me do it before. It's okay. It's okay to have a sports discussion without trying to undermine someone's credibility. Like you on Twitter, the first comments I saw just now was, "Oh, he's a journeyman who in 13 years has been on 11 teams." Like, who cares? Like you said, it's a popular opinion that Steph Curry is an all-time great player, which is fine. But Mike James is trying to nitpick a top 5 list here, and I feel like it's okay to not have like you said, to the god, like bow down to the gods. You don't have to bow down to public opinion. It's okay to have opinions. It's what makes humans humans.
My wife is very jealous because as a sports fan, I can go into any bar, any social engagement, and I can just start talking sports. Right? I can walk into a bar or a party and be like, in San Francisco, and be like, I don't think Steph Curry is a top 5 player, and I have 4 guys around me talking to me, arguing with me, telling me I'm right, patting me on the back, and all of a sudden we're having a whole full-on conversation. And
the numbers,
non-sports fans can't really do that, right? I mean, you can't go into a bar and be like, I didn't like the Kardashians' bathing suit, and somebody will be like, yeah, and then move on, right? So like, there's no discussion. Sports is great because we can have these arguments, and Mike James is just having a discussion about it, and that's what makes sports so fantastic as a fan. And everybody should discuss them.
That's always impressed my mother too. Like, well, my mother, not my wife, obviously, but my mother, because she'll like, I'll be like in a restaurant, if we sit near a bar, then like I'll just like start talking. Oh yeah, you like that football player? Like, oh yeah. It was like we're strangers. She's like, how do you do that? It's sports, Mom.
Yeah, sports is the thing that brings us together. And then in this country where many things drive us apart, it's good that no matter what social situation you're in, you can discuss these types of things. And so, going in and talking about Mike James's list can be something I'll go talk about at work today, and I'm sure it'll spark controversy and conversation, and that's a good thing. So, like I said, I'm happy Mike James answered the way he did, especially if he's being honest.
Fair enough. Speaking of things that drive us apart here, Brittney Griner, boy oh boy. Okay, this is a very touchy subject, and I've made my opinions clear. She got 9 years from the Russian prison sentence. Russia wants 2 prisoners back instead of just one Russian arms dealer back in exchange for Brittney Griner and some other person over there, some war veteran or whatever. And what infuriates me the most about this debate is that, yes, okay, so a few things are true at the same time. She was wrong for smuggling weed into a country. The best point I've heard about her doing that is she has been in that country several times before and knew that this was wrong. So this accident bullcrap is completely false. That's just wrong. So that's obviously she did the wrong thing. Number 2, 9 years might be a political statement by Russia. Because I've heard some people say like that Russia has guys over there that have done that and have less time. So I get that. Another thing can also be true that she probably does need to be in the U.S. right now. I don't like saying, oh, she needs to be back to her family because, yeah, she committed a crime in a foreign country. And like you said about Italy and the place that you had gone to, they live differently than us, which means their laws are probably different than our laws. But I just wish people would say, well, the celebrity, like, I get it. I do. But don't say she's anti-America because she stands up for something that she believes in. Like, I don't agree with her takes, but I still think it's okay to advocate for change in a country that you live in, right? It's okay to do that, but there's a fine line to walk with these people, man.
Yeah, so my take on her, we haven't talked about it too much because I was out of the country when a lot of this happened, but there are 40,000 Americans in American jails for weed, for some semblance of weed that violated some law, regardless of how silly that law is in the state they committed that penalty in. Before we start trying to pat ourselves on the back and say we're going to get her out for her being jailed for weed, we should probably address our own situation, which is we have 40,000 Americans in American jails for weed. So I don't support us trying to get her out while we do that to our own citizens. She did break a law in a foreign country, which is unfortunate. And look, I don't want any American jailed in a foreign country. I'm sure she's living a nightmare, right? I'm sure the other people who have committed similar crimes are living a nightmare in Russia and other countries who they've committed crimes in. But she was not the first to get a 10-year sentence or 9-year sentence for weed in Russia. There's another person who did a year before. There's a teacher who's in our jail cell for smuggling weed by accident, who we've not got now, who's gotten no public recognition, who President Biden hasn't said, let's get this person out.
Immediately, right.
So her celebrity status has no bearing on me, right? She's as good as the teacher and the Marine and everybody else who's being held there captive. And I do think we should try to get all those people back to America, but they committed a crime. And as long as they committed a crime, they're held to the standards of the country they committed a crime in. So from my personal opinion, this has nothing to do with her stance, her kneeling, her beliefs, or her patriotism. She did something wrong. We have no reason, other than she's an American, we want her out, to do anything special for her. And if we get a prisoner swap with a bunch of Americans who are in prison in Russia, and that's what the country thinks is best, and so be it. But the fact that all this public outcry for her is coming is actually making the situation worse, in my opinion, because there are other people who are there who committed other crimes who are doing the same type of thing, and we're not doing that for them. And she's no one special to me. So I don't support them doing anything special for her. That's just my personal opinion on Brittney Griner.
And I think that's the opinion everyone should have. Like, to me, there should be no argument here. Like what are we doing with arguing about this stuff? Like, that's like what you just said is basically what should happen in a nutshell. Like,
that's how I feel.
Like, but to me, like, people that view otherwise, like, what are we doing here? Like, they're trying to create some, like you said, the arguments that just aren't good enough. Like, you commit a crime in a foreign country. Yes, we'd like you back, but you still committed a crime. Like, how hard is that to get through people's skulls? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, she like you had mentioned, she'd been to the country before. I'm sure she's been advised by both the WNBA, any geopolitical faction she deals with, what the rules are, right? The making a mistake is not a good answer. I mean, look, committing a crime out of ignorance is still committing a crime. And I don't agree with Russia. I don't agree with their laws. I don't agree with their president. I don't agree with any of their stuff. But that's their country. They can do what they want. If that's how they want to run their country, then so be it. And so, you can't go to England and drive on the right side of the road. That's just their laws, right? They drive on the other side of the road. Whether we think it's smart or stupid, you're going to get in trouble if you do that. And so, she did something wrong. She should serve a penalty. I don't know that the 9-year penalty is a political thing either. From what I understand, the person who committed a crime the year before also got 10 years. And this is before a war and before any political stuff was going on, and they're still sitting in prison now. And so, the whole thing has been blown out of proportion because people don't like Brittney Griner because she knelt and she wants change and she supported Kaepernick and all of that stuff. But in the end, she's an American. We should want her back, but she still committed a crime.
Bingo. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, it's a Fantasy Draft Friday in full effect. How about NFL MVPs for 2023? What I pick, Sammy cannot pick, and vice versa. We'll be right back. AM Drive on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah. You want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Woohoo! Welcome back to the AM Drive here. And I just want to mention this quickly since we are running out of time. That go to myamdrive.com to shop Fanatics. Click that Fanatics logo. Today's daily deal. It's free shipping on orders of $24 or more. Fantasy draft today is NFL MVP for 2023. We each have our list. We each only have 5 players. But as it is in the regular draft, if Sammy takes Trayvon Walker, I cannot take Trayvon Walker. Just a thought.
Spoiler alert, I am not taking Trayvon Walker.
Oh, Sammy, come on, man. Do it. With your first pick, Sammy, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to take the odds-on favorite, the easiest choice on the whole board, Josh Allen. Guy is coming off a monster year. Their team just continues to get better, and there's no secret to having the best record and being the best player on the team with the best record is the way to win MVP. So I think Buffalo will be the number 1 seed in the AFC. I think Josh Allen's the easy choice.
I disagree, although he was number 2 on my board. My number 1, which is why I'm glad you went first, because this would have been a bad number 1 pick. Lamar Jackson. The reason I picked Lamar Jackson is because I do believe the Ravens were very good last year before injuries. I did believe what Aaron said, that they were Super Bowl favorites. And to me, if this is a contract year for him, if he ends up just playing through it and just betting on himself, that can only mean wonders. And, of course, hopefully he doesn't get injured again. But I'm going with Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to have a great year once again.
I was going to take Lamar Jackson, not next pick. He is 20-1, so he was a little further down on my board. But he was definitely somebody I was interested in. I like taking previous MVPs to win MVP, which means I'm going to take this previous MVP to win with my second choice, and that's Patrick Mahomes.
Man.
I actually think the Chiefs are going to be bad this year. I actually don't think they're going to win. Under on their win total is one of my bets this year. But if they're going to have any semblance of winning that division, it's going to fall on the shoulders of Mr. Mahomes. And without Tyreek Hill, I think he's going to have a monumentally good year to make them win. And if he does, that can definitely keep him in the MVP race.
Love it. And you took my guy, but I'm going to go with another guy who lost to wide receiver as well, who I still believe will be just fine because he's proven it before without the guy, Aaron Rodgers.
Did you send him a case of psychedelics? He could help your cause here.
Yeah, Aaron sent us that yesterday. I haven't yet to read that article, but it's definitely a weird thing from a weird dude.
It's a weird thing.
Have you seen those pictures? Have you seen those pictures of him in the offseason?
Oh my God! When he looked like Cameron Poe from the movie, it's so funny.
Is he trying to be Jesus? I don't know what he's trying to do.
He has an odd sense of humor for sure.
Not my sense of humor, but okay.
No, not mine either. But you can't help but laugh at a guy who is somewhat genuine. You know, a lot of these guys are like robots when they get asked anything or do anything, and he doesn't. He gives a real take whether you agree with it or don't. So I do respect that.
So you have Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Who's next?
I'm gonna stick with the AFC. I'm trying to peg the best team in the AFC. I'm gonna go with another West quarterback, and that is Justin Herbert. I do feel like, or Justin Herbert. I don't know if I'm
Herbert's. Come on now. Don't do that.
I really feel like that division's a bloodbath, and the winner of that division will have MVP opportunities, and they're probably the best team. So Justin Herbert, my number 3 pick, just because he's never won before. But yeah, that division's really tough.
I dig it. I'm gonna go with a guy who's actually 50-1, probably because he is a running back. I'm gonna go with Derrick Henry.
That is not the running back I thought you were gonna go with, considering the hat you're wearing.
Well, I have another player on my list that, if it comes to that, I might pick. But I believe Derrick Henry was having a way better year before he went down, and so he's healthy now. Come on.
So I looked at the odds. It is 17 picks, 17 quarterbacks before Derrick Henry is the first running back. And that just shows you it's just a quarterback. It's a quarterback award. I mean, the top 17 odds-on favorites are all quarterback. I'm going to go with the best team in the NFC's quarterback, in my opinion, not Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford. He's never won the award. Never won the award. I feel like he definitely has a shot at having a big year, even with his little odd elbow situation going on. Right. And they have a good chance of repeating. They're a really good team, the Rams.
I'm going to go with I shouldn't do this first. I'm going to go with the guy that I think you were going to pick anyways. I'm going to go with Tom Brady. Just to steal him off the board.
I was not going to go with Tom Brady. So losing all three of your interior linemen, I feel like makes it really hard on Tom Brady. It's not like he's the most fleet of foot. I did not think he's going to have a great year. And I think this is the type of year that will actually kind of force him into retirement. He hasn't gotten hit very much. And I love Brady, but he hasn't gotten hit very much in the last couple of years. I think he's going to get hit more this year than he's been hit in any previous year. And so, I love Brady. I hope he does well. I don't think he wins the MVP this year. My last pick is another. I was going to go with Lamar Jackson here, but you already stole him from me. So I'll go with another young running quarterback. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is behind the best offensive line in football. They've got more weapons now with A.J. Brown. They're going to probably win that division. It's them or the Cowboys, right? So I can see him sneaking in kind of like Lamar Jackson did when he won his award with a good combination of running and passing yards and a high winning percentage record. So he's my long shot, 20-1.
As I take us home here and drive us home, I'm going to run up my list with. This is so tough. I'm going to go with a team that might be scary good with their new young quarterback. I'm going to go with Trey Lance.
Oh, interesting. He's really far down. He's 40-1.
Yep. I was going to go with Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan having the same odds as a guy who I think is better, and Matt Ryan also has a Jonathan Taylor on his team. I'll go with Trey Lance as my number 5 guy.
Matt Ryan, 35-1 is the equivalent of lighting money on fire, but you could have taken him.
I think Matt Ryan's going to have a good year. I know you and Aaron don't believe that, but I'm going to be okay.
I just don't see how he has a good year. The guy has not had. I don't know. We'll see.
They won 7 games last year because of him, so I'll be okay.
I mean, his stats can't be good if Jonathan Taylor's stats are good, in my opinion. So I think Jonathan Taylor has a good year.
We'll find out.
Yep.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody. And Sammy, we'll see you when we see you. But drive safe, everybody.